Well, I would say it was a somewhat organized chaos. I mean, it really wasn't chaos. It was very, very busy. And, you know, a lot of unanswered questions. And I mean, I think, you know, in the first 3 days, you know, like I said, when I first got the word, I went into the office and just literally started making phone calls, calling the Coast Guard, calling Alaska, calling Exxon, calling DEC, calling anybody I could possibly think of to try to, you know, number one, confirm that it had happened, and number two, then find out, you know, how bad it is, you know, and really, was there anything that we could do? Almost immediately, we had fishermen, you know, as soon as the word got out on the street, we had fishermen coming into the office, and they wanted to go out and help.
Right.
And initially, in the earliest days, I really felt that the attitude was one neighbor helping another neighbor because they've got a problem. Money wasn't even brought up at all. And you know, when I would talk to different people, tell them we had boats, and I would say the most memorable conversation for me was with someone at Alaska, and I don't anymore even remember who it was. It wasn't somebody I knew at the time. I suspect I probably know them pretty well now, but I've forgotten who it was. But when I told them that, you know, we had all of these boats, they said to me, well, we can't afford the liability of using amateurs. And my response to them was, the amateurs are the people who've just flown in from Houston. I said, I'm talking about fishermen who have spent their entire lives, you know, out in Prince William Sound, you know, hauling seines, hauling gill nets. Trust me, they are not amateurs, and they are perfectly capable of doing this. Well, it was a lot of emotion. I mean, certainly, you know, well, with fishermen, there's often a lot of strong language, so that's, you know, I'm not sure that I could segregate that out, but it was very emotional. I mean, I remember walking through there and seeing, you know, these big old guys, and I'm talking about guys who've been there, you know, their whole lives, and, you know, maybe, you know, 50, 60 years old at that point, and literally would see them with tears in their eyes. Yeah. And it was a feeling of helplessness. Yeah. You know, of course, once there was a downside to opening the door and getting the boats in and responding, and I'm sure you've heard about this too, that there were sort of the haves and have-nots. And there were fishermen who were able to get contracts. There were fishermen who didn't want to get contracts. They did not want to work for Exxon. And then there were fishermen who wanted to work for Exxon but couldn't get a contract. So it did create a lot of animosity between some people. I mean, some people who thought you shouldn't go to work for Exxon would be mad at the people who did go to work for Exxon.
So in what case would it be that somebody wanted to but couldn't?
Well,
in what case would they be mad at that?
You know, I mean, I've heard allegations, and, you know, I mean, there are people who thought there was some favoritism going on. I don't know that of my own accord. Who knows, or, you know, maybe there are choices were made.
Inferior equipment, or they may have mouthed off at some point, and
or maybe at the point that they were trying to get in there, they just simply weren't needed. See, that's the other thing. In the earliest days of the oil spill, there wasn't enough equipment to go out and respond to the spill. So, well, it didn't help, you know, if you had a boat out there, but you actually didn't have the boom to haul.
Yeah.
You know, and they were running out of space in the containers. I mean, they had the skimmers out, but they didn't have storage space to put what they were picking up. So a lot of things just, you know, they were falling way behind on the skimming because they didn't have any place to put it.